Hello everybody. For today's video we're going to be talking about what is anthropology, what are some of the subfields, and how is the scientific method used within each of the subfields while doing research. So anthropology confronts basic questions of human existence and survival, such as how we originated, how we have changed, and how we are still changing. Anthropology is holistic. It's interested in the whole of the human condition. So this includes past, present, and future, the biological aspects of the human condition, society, language, and culture as well. And the four subfields of anthropology that we have are cultural anthropology, which examines cultural diversity of the present and recent past. So this is looking at what are some of the cultural aspects of a society. So whether that's like some traditions, events, um, and all those kind of cultural things that phenomenons that we tend to associate with cultures, holidays as well. And then we have archaeology, which reconstructs behavior by studying material remains. So when you're thinking of like the pyramids of Egypt and all those other like Machu Picchu, all these kind of historical sites, those are archaeologists that go in and study the kind of society and reconstruct it from there. And then we have biological anthropology, which studies human fossils, genetics, and bodily growth in non-human primates. So these are also the people that do, like there's also a subfield of biological anthropology that do the forensic anthropology, which then look at um, the more recent human remains and kind of help decide, work alongside the criminal justice system as well. And linguistic anthropology, which this considers how speech varies with social factors and over time and space. So this is looking at how language is constructed and used and within each society, and how social factors such as like the society's beliefs and values have changed over time and influenced language. So human adaptability. So there's a society which is organized life in groups. There's the culture, which is the traditions, customs, and innovations that govern behavior and beliefs. And this is distinctly human, which is transmitted through learning. And adaptation, variation, and change, which adaptation is the process by which organisms cope with environmental forces and stress. So how do we cope with stuff that's going on around us? What would that be, like natural disasters, war, or any other kind of event or situation that's going on around us? How do we cope with that? Humans adapt using biological and cultural means. And the rate of change accelerated during the past 10,000 years, which is raging sole basis of human subsistence for millions of years. And it only took a few thousand years for food production, cultivation of plants, and domestication, so stock breeding of animals. The first civilizations arose between 6,000 and 5,000 BP, which before present. And more recently, the spread of industrial production profoundly affected human life. So with like this is talk in reference to the industrial revolutions, and today's global economy and communications link all contemporary people directly or indirectly in the modern world system. So especially with after the industrial revolution, now we're in a more globalized society, which people across the world on the other side of the world from you are able to communicate, whether that's directly or indirectly. And there's forms of cultural and biological adaptations. Our technology, cultural. There's some pressurized airplane cabin with oxygen masks. Genetic adaptation, so larger barrel chest of native Highlanders. Long-term physiological adaptation, so more effective respiratory system. And short-term physiological adaptations is increased heart rate and hyperventilation. General anthropology. So academic discipline of anthropology includes the sociocultural, so culture and cultural anthropology, archaeological, biological, and linguistic. So those are the four kind of main subfields of anthropology. And they were developed, the four-field approach was developed in the US by an early American anthropologist studying native peoples of North America and this combined the studies of customs, social life, language, and physical traits. And sound conclusions about human nature cannot be derived from studying a single nation, society, or cultural tradition. And cultural forces shape human biology. So biocultural, the inclusion and combination to solve a common problem of biological and cultural perspectives and approaches. And culture is key to environmental force in determining how human bodies grow and develop. Cultural standards of attractiveness and propriety influence participation and achievement in sports. So cultural anthropology describes, analyzes, interprets, and explains social and cultural similarities and differences. Ethnography is fieldwork in a particular culture, provides account of that community, society, or culture. Ethnology is the cross-cultural comparative study of ethnographic data of society and of culture. So here are some of the examples of the two dimensions of cultural anthropology. Archaeological anthropology. This is the study of human behavior and cultural patterns and processed through material remains. So we're looking at artifacts, garbage, burials, remains of structures, and archaeologists use paleoecological studies to establish ecological and subsistence parameters within which given groups lived. An archaeological record provides unique opportunity to look at changes in social complexity over time. They also study the cultures of historical and living people. Historical archaeology combines archaeological data and textual data to reconstruct historically known groups. Biological anthropology is the study of human biological variation in time and space. This includes evolution, genetics, growth and development, and primatology as well. This draws on biology, zoology, geology, anatomy, and more. And some special interests are paleoanthropology, human genetics, human growth and development, human biological plasticity, and primatology. Linguistic anthropology is the study of language in its social and cultural context across space and time. So historical linguistics reconstruct ancient languages, and sociolinguistics investigates relationships between social and linguistic variation. Anthropology is a science, and it's a systematic field of study or body of knowledge that aims through experimentation, observation, and deduction to produce reliable explanations of phenomenon with reference to the material and physical world. Anthropology is also an art. It encompasses study of and cross-cultural comparison of languages, texts, philosophies, and more. From form of knowledge is often intersubjective. So also mixing cultural anthropology and sociology, share an interest in social relations, organization. Originally, sociologists focused on the industrial West, anthropology and psychology. Malinowski contended that cultural context molds individual psychology. Scientists strive to improve understanding by testing hypotheses that suggest explanations of things or events. And these help explain how and why the thing to be understood is related to other things in some known way. Or some associations, observed relationships between two or more measured variables. A theory is more general. It's explanatory framework containing a series of statements that helps us understand why or happens to in a particular way. Theory suggests patterns, connections, and relationships that may be confirmed by new research. Associations usually state probabilistically with two or more variables that tend to be related. And these theories cannot be proved. We evaluate them through the method of falsification. And these theories that are not disproved are accepted because the available evidence seems to support them.